beautiful old soul who was very pleased and happy with who he was, to an enlightened soul who understood fully who he was. All the things that took place in the book, one by one, was a precursor, information, and knowledge, and wisdom. One of the things that was the most difficult for Michael Thomas to go through was where he had to release his baggage. In the story, it is told that an angel that Michael Thomas was with and loved and appreciated looked at Michael Thomas and said, I couldn't help but notice that you're carrying some baggage. The angel said that the baggage was unbalanced. Because he was being, he had actually replaced himself and had reworked himself to the place where he had accepted some gifts of food that he knew that he was wearing and carrying. The retort of the angel with that accusation was as follows. Michael, you ask, who gives permission to take away your stuff? You did when you decided to go on this journey and call yourself an awakened old soul. What is the definition of bad stuff or difficulty going through this? And that is what we're going to talk about now. Michael Thomas released his baggage all at once. Some of you don't. Some of you are very attached to certain things. And you will find that you will release some things and not others. You're still out of balance, dear ones.
In the room right now, there are those who've released a lot, but not all. There are those who've released all, and there are those who release none. It doesn't change the fact that you are an old soul sitting here or listening to this with full knowledge of the shift. And now I want to bring this home. I want to start itemizing some things. Briefly, small list, but so important. Some things you've heard from me before in different ways, but now I'm putting it together. The old soul releasing and changing. What is required really, truly, to move ahead? And in the process, I will tell you this list is challenging. And in the challenges that I list to you, there is always solution. Always. But it's challenging. It's why some of you have said, I release it. Kind of. But I'm going to hang on to this one. My partner tells his story of what he then released, and all the time he withheld one thing. And then he had a storm that forced him to release the last thing. Dear ones, you don't need a storm. If you're paying attention, you don't need a storm. The storm is something that Spirit creates with you, with free choice that you walk into, and synchronicity brings it so that you will have a greater experience when you reach the other side of the storm. When you go through the darkness and you come out healed. Things that perhaps you're not even thinking of that needs to be released. So let's do what I'll call 3 and 3. There'll be 3 attributes that I'm going to give you that some of you have heard before that are primary of things that the old soul needs to understand. That release is something that will actually guide you forward. After Michael released his bags, he changed. And the change was because suddenly he was open to certain other things that he never would be open to while he held his bags. And so the second 3 some will be change. Things to look forward to. Things to change into. And here they go. Dear old soul, I would love you to release everything that anybody has taught you to this point. Why? Crying, you're crazy. There's been some profound teaching from my parents, from my school, from everything. Everything. Now let us analyze this. Everything that was given to you and taught to you was a derivative of the way things worked in an old paradigm which is changing. I want you to be able to drop everything that you were ever taught. We've told you before the difficulty here. You might want to, but it's almost a betrayal of those who taught it to you. And whether it's a loving parent or whether it's a friend or a teacher or school, you have to be willing to drop everything that was ever taught. And the reasoning, yet again, it was fine for the time. It had integrity when it was taught. And now you're about to engage a new planet. You have to be willing. Difficult, challenging, and very doable. Tough. Can it get harder? Yes, number 2. Everything that by yourself you have learned in the old energy works for you, is you, and about you, and defines you. Drop it. You will not survive well in the new energy when you have defined yourself from an old. And don't carry the residuals of it. Drop it. Come in fresh, without any of the baggage of the knowledge what you think is right, wrong, true, false, because that is going to be upended as you move forward into a paradigm of light. Dear ones, literally, the teaching, the learning.
Victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
Of all the species actually self-regulates the salinity levels in the ocean and the chemistry of the atmosphere. And so the whole thing is technically Earth plus its weather systems, its plate tectonics, the entire system. And if you leave it alone and don't hit it with an atom, and if you leave it alone and don't idea in particles. Can consciousness be engineered or emerge somehow in bosons, or is it something relegated strictly in bosons, or is it something relegated strictly to fermions? Fermions are the particles of matter, such as electrons. Well, that answer is no. There is no law of physics that prevents self-organization idea as well, because photons can move at the speed of light. And when you move at the speed of light, you experience, according to special relativity, no time. And what does that even mean, to experience no time? What is a consciousness that experiences no time? Deductive question number 5. The last deduction. Is it possible for consciousness to move out from